If today you listen to His voice, harden not your hearts. In the Gospel today, we see Jesus casting out a demon from a mute person. Following this miracle, the Gospel writer presents us with the contrasting attitudes of the witnesses. On one hand, we read that the crowds were amazed by what they saw, as nothing like this has been seen in Israel. On the other, we read of the Pharisees who said that Jesus did this by the power of the prince of demons. Here we evidently see the hard-heartedness of the Pharisees. Rather than rejoicing with the crowd at the healing of a man who has been mute, they malign Jesus and accuse Him of working with the power of the evil one. Rather than recognize the power and glory of God at work in the person of Christ, they are blinded by their pride and jealousy and fail to even see the possibility of Jesus being the Messiah. This scene is reminiscent of the Exodus episode, where Pharaoh refused to release the Israelites. He failed to recognize the marvels that God worked for the sake of His people, in spite of the plagues sent as a punishment. St. Thomas Aquinas, in one of his writings, while speaking of hardness of heart, writes, "Man's first hardening is from sin, whereby he is hardened in the flesh against the Spirit. Thereby, sin is what hardened the hearts of the Pharisees, which made them blind to the works of God. And their sin was pride and jealousy. They were proud of their status as religious leaders and jealous because they couldn't do the wonders that Jesus performed. This made them insecure skeptics instead of compassionate shepherds. Jesus, on the other hand, is described as being moved with compassion for the crowds, seeing them as harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Unlike the Pharisees, Jesus' heart was open and responsive to the needs of the people. His compassion drove Him to heal, teach, and bring hope to the marginalized and suffering. He embodies the love and mercy of God, showing us the true nature of a heart attuned to the will of the Father. As we reflect on this passage, we are called to examine our own hearts. Are there areas where we have become hardened by sin, pride, or jealousy? Do we resist God's work in our lives and in the lives of others because it challenges our own preconceptions or status? May we open ourselves to the transformative power of God's grace, allowing Him to soften our hearts, fill us with compassion, and guide us in becoming true disciples who recognize and rejoice in His presence among us. Amen.